Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tuesday night here at Runts Barbecue. And, of course, we're here each and every week from 6:30 to 7, along with you on Rougher TV as well as on our radio partner, Okie Country 1017. Time for this week's Muskogee Rougher Football Coaches Show. Homecoming, many times, is a disaster as far as preparation. But I think in the case of the Roughers this week, it was a job well done.
Yeah, it was a great night. Big atmosphere. Jack was the king.
Yeah, King Jack.
Happy for Jack Green being the king. And then, we came out and played pretty well and put on a show for the crowd, and it was great to see.
It was great to see a former Rougher lead the team onto the field, too, last Friday night when Tion Brewer was able to take the big flag and race out in front of the group.
Yeah, there's things that are a lot more important than a football game, and that's definitely one of them. And sure happy for him and his family, and, of course, a story that hits very close to home. And, he seems like a great young man, too.
He is equally as good of a young man as he was a football player.
Yeah.
And now he's talking about going to rodeo. Now he's going to be a tough guy if he's going to do that way. Let's talk about the football game, though. 63-0 was the final score. Realistically, the Roughers scored any way and every way possible.
Yeah, had a lot of explosive plays early. We got an early punt return by Kenyon Goodson, and a couple big pass plays, big play on defense with Cole McQueen with a fumble recovery.
Here's a guy that's pushed into the starting lineup because Coda Barnowski was out, and then he happens to be in the right place at the right time. The ball bounces right in front of him and scoop and score.
That's the second game Cole's had to fill in as the starter, and Arias Parrish was out with a growing problem a couple weeks ago, and he's done a great job. I mean, he is definitely very capable of doing the job at the linebacker position for us.
Is it hard to maintain your focus when the game gets so out of hand so early? I mean, it was 50-zip at halftime.
Yeah, it can be a little strange. You have a lot of thought. You want to have respect for your opponent.
Absolutely.
But you also want to get as many guys reps as you can. So, sometimes every lineman on the team seems like they want to carry the ball or something like that, which we're not going to do.
So you're trying to tell me that King Jack was coming up and say, "Hey, I'm the homecoming king. Can I carry the ball tonight?"
There's probably a chance. Jack would love to carry the ball.
I'm sure.
We saw the Alabama lineman that caught the pass.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we tried to put that in last week. So we tried JoJo Alexander first, and it was like hitting concrete wall. He dropped it. So we put Von Holt out there, and sure enough, just clank. So he's like, all right, scrap that idea. We'll move on to the next trick play.
Von Holt put a pretty good clank on that running back from Putnam City West. When
he had a big hit, and then, he's been – we're trying to find somebody just to have a backup kicker if we ever needed it. And he's been kicking some of them in practice and came in at the very end and hit an extra point. So probably the biggest guy I've ever had hit an extra point. So.
But now you get that win. Obviously, that was the ultimate goal, pick up the victory, get the plus 15 points. And now you start continuing on and your climb toward the first goal of the year. That's to win a district championship.
Yeah, now, we're going up against Bartlesville this week. We'll try to maintain the pace and continue to improve. And then we've talked about that. Sometimes winning's it's great, but it may not be enough. You need to win and do it impressively if you want to keep pace with teams like Sand Springs and some of the teams that we would face in the playoffs.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this district race. It still appears to be pretty much anybody's for the taking in 6A2 Division II.
Yeah, and it's, you saw – the traditional Power of Choctaw get beat the other night by Putnam City Original, and then
what a finish there!
Yeah, it was. We finished early enough. I got to watch last little bit of that game, and it was wild. And then, of course, Stillwater has shown some games where they've been very impressive. And you look over even Southmore, Piedmont. Some of those teams look like they're pretty good. Of course, I'm not extremely familiar with all of them yet.
Right, yeah, sure.
Obviously paying a lot closer attention than I have in the past.
But then you've got within the district where the Roughers compete, you've got Sand Springs that has been very good. You've got Sapulpa. They got the win over Bartlesville last Friday night. You've got your own Roughers and two or three other teams that
Putnam
are still.
City North, I thought when I watched them on film, very athletic, very capable of upsetting somebody on a given night.
So you never really know what's going to happen, but now you go on the road to to Bartlesville this Friday night, and you walk out of your own homestand as the homecoming candidate into Friday night's ball game at Custer Stadium as the visiting opponent on homecoming night.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. But, sometimes I also understand. I was an AD for many years, and sometimes your schedule doesn't allow much flexibility on when that game is. So,
in Bartlesville's defense, Coach, talking with Harry Wright earlier today, it's their only game in the month of October that's at home.
Yeah, and you can have, you don't want to do it too early. You don't want to do it senior nights of your last game. Then you don't want to do it on fall break. Sometimes I know one year I had to have Cassia Hall as our homecoming, which I did not want to do. I mean, it was the year where they were in the semis that year, and we won the game, but I wasn't crazy about having to do that. And so sometimes that's just how it falls.
63-0 win last week. Overall, after you've looked at the tape, satisfied with the performance? Anything that you feel like you've accomplished the level of performance you want, or something special that you want still to come?
Well, I can tell you, we were happy with a lot of the performance, but I also know that I don't feel like we're anywhere near as good yet as we can be. I think the energy's good. I think the mindset's right. But as far as overall execution, there's no doubt we have areas that we feel like we can still come a long ways, which is encouraging because that tells you how much potential this team has.
Well, we're going to give you a chance to find out a little bit more about what goes on inside the war room of the assistant coaches where they hang out across the hall from Coach Condict. And one of the guys that's always equally involved in the game preparation on the defensive side is the guy who goes by the same name as a honky-tonk in Texas. We call him Gilly. We'll be back to talk with the defensive secondary coach of the Muskogee Ruffers, but first this time out from Runts Barbecue here on the Tuesday Night Coaches Show.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
This land was a tapestry of Indian nations and tiny towns that grew into great cities. Bank First is loyal to the shared mission of growth and success that built Oklahoma. That's why in more than 50 communities statewide, our banks are run by local leaders who stick together and work hard to continue unlocking Oklahoma's great promise. Bank First, loyal to Oklahoma, loyal to you.
A super time to buy September savings at J. Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee. Buy a new Silverado 1500, take $10,000 off MSRP. Shop over 60 used from $16,965. September savings top the list. Don't overpay. Come see Jay. New Silverado, 10 grand off. Over 60 used from $16,965. At J. Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee. 144 West Shawnee.
My brother and sister left me again. They went back to school. Can you believe that? But don't worry, they still call me every morning, thanks to their brand new phones from Bravado Wireless. My sister even dropped hers in the pool, but Bravado's trade-in help has her covered. And my brother, he's flexing with the new iPhone 16 Pro Max. Like, how cool is that? Mom and Dad got deals too. Bravado's unlimited plan saved the whole family money.
Welcome back to Runts Barbecue. It's the home for our Muskogee Ruffer Football Coaches Show each and every Tuesday night. We were talking about homecoming, kind of a homecoming for this guy right next to you because you and Coach Gilstrap have been hooked up for many, many years.
So, of course, known Coach Gilstrap for several years and then hired him as the defensive coordinator at Wagner the last couple of years. And sure enjoyed getting to know him and his family, consider him a dear friend. Just happy to be able to bring him on board with us.
Now, the only divisiveness I see between these two guys is the license plate that adorns the front of Coach Gilly's truck and what is on the Coach Condit truck.
Yeah.
Because they have a different color, do they not, Gilly?
They do, yeah.
Hold on. There you go.
They do. We just want to make sure everybody knows which vehicle's whose and who they're passing by.
I know which one I'm glad I'm wearing right now. Now, there's been some years here lately where it was a little more difficult, but hey, it's ebbs and flows.
Gilly, talk a little bit about your journey to Muskogee and your coaching. where you played high school ball, where you went to college, where you've coached in your career.
That's another.
Well, that's it could take a while.
Do you have to? Can you rewind the memory bank that far?
I believe I can. I graduated from Miami High School. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a football, basketball coach. So I traveled around as a youngster at several different schools. And then my first job was in Mount Vernon, Missouri. And then I got to go to Miami to coach for the guy who was my head football coach. I stayed there 4 years. Then I went to southeastern Oklahoma to Idabel, Clarksville, Texas, Wyandotte, Oklahoma, back to Miami for another 5-year stint. And then I was at Adair 12 and then Wagner for 2 seasons. And now I'm at Muskogee.
Now, is the story true that you gave naming rights to Mickey Gilly to name his honky tonk?
Yeah, I did something like that. I had him spell it a little different. He put an E in his. Yeah, but yeah, I did.
This guy's got a story for everything, Coach.
Yeah, and he's Coach Gilstrap's very well known around, especially in Northeast Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
He's been not only a great coach, but someone that's provided leadership in our Oklahoma Coaches Association, and he's a guy that cares very much about our profession and about the young people we influence. So it's been great to get, and I tell you what, he's fun to hang out with.
He's a nice guy to hang around, and to hear the banter that goes on in that defensive coaches room. Sometimes you need to be thick-skinned, right, Gilly?
Yeah, a little bit.
And sometimes you better. I think the good book says it's better to give than to receive.
I believe that's the saying.
Well, that's the same in the boardroom. There's a lot of giving, and you better be able to receive it and not get offended. Right. Gilly, talk a little bit about your defensive approach, your philosophy to the defensive game of football.
I believe in being multiple defensively. I believe in running to the football is a big thing that I believe in. I think we do a good job of that here at Muskogee, and I feel like being multiple back end, front end. We run the 3-4, and then Coach Bryant's introduced the 4-2-5 a little bit, and we do some different things out of our 3-4, and I think the more multiple you are, it causes confusion with the offense.
And you've got secondary responsibilities,
yes.
And in today's game of football, that sometimes is the most important positions on the field.
Right. I think there's a lot of people sitting in the stands that can recognize when a secondary guy messes up.
Really?
As opposed to a defensive end or something like that.
They changed his name from. We had one here several seasons ago that went by the name of Smoke, Victor Williams. And he quickly, after a couple of games in the defensive secondary, got changed from Smoke to Bacon.
Right.
Because he got burnt.
Yep. That happens a lot. You got to have a short memory back there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What are the skills that you try to employ to your defensive backs?
I look guys who can move, have good footwork, can transition from back pedal and to their breaks well. They got to be able to disrupt routes and be ball hawks. Run to the football and find the football, and make plays.
And they don't always have to be the biggest guys on the field, do they?
No, not at all. Especially cover corners, they can be a little bit smaller. If they're competitive and extremely athletic, then we'll use them. We got a little guy, I forget his name, 9th grader. He's a lockdown guy. I wish I knew his name because you go and watch him. It's impressive to watch it, and he's not very big at all. He's a little bitty guy, but he can lock a guy down. And we've got a couple guys now that Decade and Ford and Keanu James. Some of those guys they're good cover guys. But there's 2 things you want when you're a head coach. You better have a good secondary coach, and you better have a good O-line coach.
And you got one right beside you.
We got both. Yeah, that's right.
Gilly, talk a little bit about the relationship you're building with this year's team, and we got a couple of guys that are part of that defensive secondary with us to be our guest in the next segment.
Right. I feel like we've come a long way. I got here in January and made it through the spring and really established a good relationship with all the players, and I felt like that establish that relationship first, and then start implementing what you want to do, and it all just kind of gels together, and you can get a lot out of them. They'll play hard for you.
Well, now I've heard, and we were mentioning this before the show got started, that you're a barbecue rib specialist.
Well, I am on certain occasions. If they're able to get to 3 interceptions, I'll cook ribs for them. But tonight I was on the ribs.
You were smoked by the ribs. I think.
I think so.
I've been on the ribs for about a month now.
So is that for individual or is that for the whole defensive secondary?
Well, it's for the guys who, in the past, it was for guys who played. But we're still working on that because I've got a lot more guys in the secondary this year than I've had in the past. I'm going to have to get some donations for ribs.
I was going to say, I'll smoke ribs if they'll get 3 picks in the night.
Yeah. 3 INTs coming up on a Friday night?
Right.
Is got to be one guy get 3 or it's got to be?
No, it can be just among the
just
crew.
3 takeaways.
Yeah.
Among the 4 guys on the lineup, or sometimes 5.
Right.
If they get 3 picks, it's ribs for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, here we've been playing. How many you play between corners and safeties? We play probably 8 or 9 guys.
Yeah, 8 or so.
But that's nice to have that availability. Sometimes
yeah.
it's because of injury in other situations, but to be able to have that type of depth lets you keep people fresh.
Right. Exactly. Because some of those guys, are two-way guys. They'll play offense, and they need a breather every now and again. It's good to be able to have somebody else to
That's a
put
good
back there.
segue to the next segment because we got 2 guys that are playing both ways, helping out on the offensive side of the thing. Avon Goodland and also Junior Macnack down on the opposite end. Those guys sometimes need a breather from their defensive responsibilities, so they go play offense. Is that what they get their breather?
Yes. Yep.
Don't ask Coach Fine about that.
I won't.
Yeah, the most impressive thing so far, wait till the crowd sees Cowboy, whatever they're called.
Fries.
Cowboy fries. Avon Goodland has done a number on this plate of food.
He's got a bite or 2 left to go, but
right
I'm
now, on this season,
equally as impressed. He certainly devoured that.
He's got a chance to finish it. That's MVP if he does. Yes.
For sure. Kelly, how excited are you to be at Muskogee Reference 25?
I'm very excited. It's been a great transition for me. I love where I work. I love the people I've met and been around, and the kids play hard and a lot of school spirit, nice facilities, and everything's been great.
It was kind of like fun last Friday night. See those lights flashing and the big old train horn sound.
It was unbelievable.
You got to hear it over and over again.
It was a lot better than the first time I went out there at a home game. I can promise you. But,
Reference were halfway through the season. They played only in front of the home crowd twice, and last Friday night was the 63-0 win over Putnam City West. We're going to take a timeout. Kelly, thanks for being here. Give you a chance to finish up on those 2 extra ribs you got on the plate. And we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll meet 2 members of the Rutherford defensive secondary who also spend time on the offensive side of the football. But first, this time out from Runts Barbecue on the Tuesday night Coach's Show.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Runts Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts, Runts Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Runts Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Runts Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Folks, Kyle Edwards, GMC in Muskogee. I was born and raised in Muskogee. Our family has owned the GMC dealership for over 50 years. We take great pride in being in the Muskogee community. Things have changed over the years, but one thing remains the same, our desire to take care of our customers. Looking for a new GMC truck or SUV? We've got them, and you have our commitment to give you the best buying experience around. From sales, parts, or service, we are here for you. You have my promise to give you the best selection, best price, and the most for your trade-in at 1600 North Main in Muskogee or KyleEdwardsGMC.com.
Welcome back to Runts Barbecue here on this Tuesday night on the Muskogee Refer Football Coaches Show. Bill Huddleston along with the head coach and the Muskogee Refers, Dale Condict, and two guys that I know you're glad to have wearing the colors green and white.
Oh, yeah, these are two great young men. You know, one of them, despite who his father is, has overcome a lot in his life. But, you know, we have here in this weird colored shirt.
America's brightest orange, am I right, Junior?
Oh, you're right.
Oh, sorry for all you OSU fans. I know it's rough times. I feel really bad for you right now. This is Anthony McNack Jr., and then sitting next to him, a young man I've known for a long time, Mr. Avon Goodland. And I'm just going to tell you, that plate of food, you would not have believed. Show them that plate of food, Avon.
Well, what little bit of it's left.
It was heaping. You can see right here. Now look at Junior's. He's still working.
He's halfway finished.
But impressive. But, yeah, two great young men, excellent football players that have done some really good things for us so far.
Avon, tell me a little bit about your progression to becoming a defensive back, because you weren't always the trim and physique looking young man. I mean, you've kind of worked your body into football playing shape.
Yes, sir. Well, I didn't start playing safety till 10th grade, and
before that, you were?
I was an outside linebacker.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And when 10th grade came, that's when Gilstrap had actually came to coach for us. So I've known Gilly for a long time.
Now, you've also known this guy sitting to your left for a while and the family connection, because his pops, I think, had something to do with some of your youth teams.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about those. Tell me about that.
Well, his pops used to know my mom. They used to go to school together, so I used to be around a lot, you know.
Okay, and I'm sure he's been giving you coaching advice ever since the day you met him, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk to me about your style of play at that defensive position. What are your responsibilities, and how do you get the job done?
Well, my responsibilities, stay back. I'm the safety. I'm the deepest player in the field, so I got to stay back and stay in coverage. Now, Gilly, he likes that cover too, so, I had to stay.
Okay, so I'm glad you said cover two, because there's cover two, cover three, and all other kinds of defensive secondary coverages. For the casual observer, how do you define cover two? Tell our listeners that are watchers of the show tonight exactly what cover two means as opposed to maybe cover three.
Well, cover two is basically your corner and your safety are in zone. And if your man at safety is 5 yards and up, you have him. And if your man is 5 yards in or out, the corner has him. So basically, y'all are just switching off. Whoever comes up, that's you. Whoever comes down, that's him. Now, opposed to cover four, everybody's back. Everybody in the
So what's your favorite coverage? Gilly likes cover two a lot. We know that. What's your favorite coverage? If you were calling the coverages at the safety spot, what coverage would you call for the rougher defensive secondary?
Two red.
Two red?
Two red.
Is that because Condict's an OU fan? They call it two red?
I don't know why it's called two red, but all I know is the safeties, we back. We all the way back. We the deepest in coverage.
All right, now to the guy to his right, or right next to Coach Condict, wearing that bright orange shirt, is Anthony McNack Jr. I said it right?
Yes, sir.
It's not McNack. It's
McNack.
McNack, like big. And last week you had kind of the Big Mac attack because you and Stalin McHenry hooked up to McNack on a long pass that was thrown perfectly, and you got into the end zone on a touchdown catch.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your going two ways. I mean, you and Avon both are getting time on both sides of the football. How much of a demand does that put on you?
It's a lot, but how we go into the week and work up to it, it's just our bodies was ready for it on Friday night. So we basically.
So what you're trying to tell me is playing the game's a lot easier than practice during the week.
Yeah, definitely. Because we know what to expect now.
Exactly. Now, we were talking about bodies changing and having had the opportunity to be around this young man because of his dad being on the Rougher staff and having known his dad since he was younger than this young man was by several years. Junior, tell me a little bit about your physique and how it's developed, because you put on pounds, but it's been in the right places.
Yeah, I was
not up here, not the hairstyle.
Yeah, I think last year I was 145. This year I've gained, well, since that time I've gained 30 pounds. I'm 175 now. So I've been working out and eating a lot.
Well, obviously you did a pretty good, about a halfway job on this one compared to your teammate to your left who destroyed the Tiger Fries.
Yeah, I was trying to put it down. I couldn't all the way.
Now, describe your responsibilities like Avon did a moment ago defensively in the secondary.
Well, we have the same jobs. We never really switch, like field size. It normally just depends because I'm the bigger safety out of us, so there's more like responsibilities. Like when we played Ponca City, we played as a safety. I would come down into the box and he'll play high, and so that's how I'll fit more. And I'll still go back and cover it, of course, but I'm more of like I'll be able to come down. We both can, but more of the.
You're looking to write your own chapter of Rougher football. That think led to a number change this year?
Yeah, my dad wasn't too happy about that.
He kept putting it on me. I'm like, he's like, hey, what do you think about me changing numbers? I'm like, hey, you better talk to your dad about that.
Yeah.
He asked me enough. We did it.
I'm sure your two uncles would support you in that decision, right?
Yeah. They didn't say nothing about it. I had to. It was, last year I wore 27. I was like, I wore it. I liked it. It was different than this year. I was like, well, I'm not playing the same positions no more as I was last year, so might as well change it and be my own.
Most people already know that Anthony Macnack Jr. is the son of defensive end specialist Anthony Macnack, who also was a two-way player. And we interviewed you for the magazine here a couple of weeks ago along with the rest of the family. Mm-hmm. Tell me about those holiday get-togethers or weekend get-togethers when everybody's around the table and you guys are destroying food without question. But are the stories as real, are they as true as they were in real life? From your perspective, hearing your dad, Prentice, and Arthur all talk about, when I played for the Roughers.
It's always something different. Every single time we come around, it goes from my dad telling how he used to play at, I forgot what school it is, but when he was in middle school talking about wearing purple.
Oh,
and yeah, how great he was. And then my uncles, both of them.
He played for that little school out on the other side of town called West High.
Yeah, them. And always hearing about his glory days and how he was a great running back. And then I have to hear from my uncles being a great linebacker and then a great fullback, bringing that back and all that.
So how are you going to leave your legacy as a Muskogee Rougher? It's only your junior year, but you still got time to set a few marks.
Yeah, I'm outside receiver, so hopefully that takes off. And then safety, I like that too. So and he ain't played them, so.
He did not play wide receiver, let me tell you that for sure. But he would run over your butt if you got his way. That's absolutely for sure. Avon, you've chosen to wear the number 0. Any particular reason why you like the number 0?
Not really, sir. I just thought I needed to change.
You needed a change. And
Yes,
your jersey
sir.
before you came to Muskogee, having moved down from Wagner, was what?
Number 10.
Now, I understand from your own stories earlier that there was a game or two where, as a freshman, you got put in at quarterback?
No, Decaden was the
Decaden was a quarterback.
Decaden was
And then
quarterback. Yes, sir.
He's always been he's a gamer. Avon's not afraid of big competition. That's one thing I can always say. I can still remember his sophomore year. We threw him out there in the state championship game because we had confidence that he could get the job done, and he actually made the play that was going to win us the game. He had a scoop and score, and somehow there was a whistle or something. They called it back.
Yeah.
And, boy, watching the film, it was hard to watch because it was definitely a fumble, and he was right there to scoop it and take off into the end zone.
Now, you guys also spend time on the offensive side. We were kind of laughing about that because it does have some very important responsibilities, both of you guys as receiver. I was just looking at numbers. 9 catches for juniors so far in the season, averaging 9.7 yards per catch. Avon, you got 7 catches, but you're averaging 15.1 yards per catch. Is that because you're faster than Junior, or what's the deal? Or is it the play call?
I think that's what it is. I think I'm faster.
Yeah, well, I can tell you two things that are true. One, he is faster, and two, it's play calls. Now, I'll say, Junior here, I mean, if I'm saying best hands on the team, I might have to say he might have best hands on it. He's got some strong hands. So, yeah, he's been – I think he's second or third on the team in receptions right now. So he's doing a good job.
He's right behind Jamie as far as number of catches, and many of those are those possession catches.
Yep.
And what I like about Avon is he also gets those yak yards. I mean, he gets yards after catch.
Yes, sir.
How do you go about extending a pass reception and turning it into a big play? And how about a big play back a couple of weeks ago against Ponca City? Nice catch in that one, game.
Yeah, so that was a good play call right there. That was a good play call right there by Coach Fine.
Coach Fine, he's telling you to call the same play again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a good play call. You know, they were playing press on it, so, you know, it was a little smoke and go.
Now, how do you keep your concentration, and what are you thinking about, Avon? When you see that ball just hanging up there in the air, you know Kaysen is going to get it to you. He's going to throw it far enough. But what are you thinking about as the ball comes through the air and you know you got a defensive back closing in on you? You want to keep an eye on him because you know he's fixing to try to lay you out. But you know you better hold on to the football.
I just try to think about nothing but the ball. That's it. Just
don't close your eyes.
No,
just
concentrate
on the football.
On that ball. When you catch it, secure it.
How about you, Junior? You know that corner's going to come up on you on those quick out routes and try to either knock you out or knock you out of bounds.
Yeah, I just got to secure it, and me being bigger, I'm just like, I know he's not going to try to run me over. He's going to definitely go for legs.
Okay, all right. Well, Coach, there's two very confident young men and two guys that are a very big part of the Ruffers' game plans for 2025.
Yeah, they're easy guys to coach. They're very reliable, very, very trustworthy. And we were talking about speed. I guess if we wanted to find out who was faster between the two Macnacks, we could just race one day after practice.
We could get out here to the park.
Over there
now, it depends.
Just have a race.
Are we racing to the kitchen? Because if that's the case, I'm going to put my money on Pops.
I don't understand how I come through the front door of Runts, enjoy it every week. It's been a tremendous meal.
They come and take your
Somehow he comes in like royalty from the back kitchen. And they have these special sauces and these different dishes they make.
Dale, it's what we call Ruffers for life.
Yeah.
And this is a Ruffer for life, Anthony Macnack Sr., and he's earned his stripes, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And he's got a very good friend in the kitchen because she can cook up, or they can cook up some really good food for not only us, but also anybody that ever comes to Runts Barbecue. Yeah. Anthony Macnack Jr. and Avon Goodland, our guest here in this segment. We're going to come back and wrap up the show. We'll talk about Friday night's trip to Bartlesville with head coach Dale Condict after this time out on the Tuesday night Coach's Show.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com.
Proudly serving the elderly of the Muskogee community, Broadway Care and Rehabilitation Center is a skilled nursing facility empowering better living through long-term care as well as many other respite care options. And coming soon to Broadway, the Memory Care Unit. At Broadway Care and Rehabilitation, the amazing therapy department can help you or your loved one get back on their feet. Contracted with most major insurances, follow them on Facebook and see many of the enriching activities offered to the residents. Broadway Care and Rehabilitation Center, proud to support the Muskogee Ruffers.
Have you been injured as the result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by the death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you're dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
Back to the Tuesday night Muskogee Ruffer Football Coaches Show live from Runts Barbecue, where it's always, well, they call it, Dale, a little better barbecue, but from the things that have come out on our plates week in and week out, it's a whole lot better barbecue, and you haven't ever got into the desserts, my friend.
Well, I'm not going to – I can only speak for Runts because there's a lot of great barbecue restaurants out there, and I'm not going to burn any bridges.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'll say this one here is really this is great food.
And it's certainly all you can eat. Am I right?
Yeah, it was more than I couldn't quite finish off. I had these jalapeno black-eyed peas, which was the first time.
Which
I
is
tried
why
those.
the tears are running from your eyes.
Yeah.
They're a little on the spicy side.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of different things. I hadn't had anything yet I didn't like. It's all been good. Shocker, I'm not a picky eater. But
we didn't get this physique from being picky.
Hey, I tell you who is picky. That guy, Anthony Macnack over
Senior.
picky.
Senior.
I understand it.
He's got his own special sauce. He's kind of, that goes along with his flavor of chicken.
Food critic.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's not be critical, but let's evaluate the opponent Friday night. What you've seen from the Bartlesville Bruins, who I just have this feeling they are a much better football team than the record at 0-5 indicates.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I was told before we started evaluating them that they were very well coached and that they would have good schemes. And kids would be in the right position, and there's no doubt that's the case. You're going to have to work to score. They're going to do things right, and offensively they're going to run plays that as you watch them and you look at the board, you're going to like, well, we got to make sure we're in the right spots here defensively, and quarterback's a good player, but you don't want to. You're 2-3. We're 2-3. We can't take any week for granted right now. We need to be prepared and ready for every team we play. We want to stay out in front of the district race, and right now we're tied for first with whoever else is with us, and we want to stay that way as long as we can.
Now, looking at Bartlesville, it seems from just checking stats and things online that it's a team that has been very productive passing the football, which puts a lot of responsibilities. But then you go into a ball game like this, it's their homecoming at Custer Stadium, which every time I say the word Custer, I think of Custer's Last Stand.
Yeah.
You really kind of have to expect that it could be the time that the running game all comes together. They got a running back that can carry the ball pretty well.
I hope not.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Now, I will say, I think one of the strengths of our team is our front seven defensively. I think they're great against the run, so hopefully we can keep that at bay. The thing that's been fun for me is just going to new places. I've been playing the same teams for 20 years, and that you like the new, and so I've enjoyed. Like we went out to Ponca City. I'd not been to their stadium before, and it was a neat place. I enjoyed the atmosphere. I look forward to going to see. I've been to Bartlesville. It's been maybe once or twice ever, so I look forward to going there and competing. And of course, love Rougher Village. I mean, it's a wonderful place.
It is indeed. It is the palace of Muskogee. We call it the village.
And it is. And the stands were pretty full the other night.
Yeah, that was phenomenal to look down from up above in the press box. And on the west side, I mean, from goal line to goal line, there was just a sea of bodies. And, when that happens and you get the results that you were getting there, especially earlier in the ball game, that crowd got really loud.
Yeah, it's got to be an advantage, and I would think as we go through the season, we're going to be at home a few more times, and hopefully one time at least in the playoffs. And so, we want to just continue to build off of what we saw the other night.
Is there a particular part of the game plan against Bartlesville that you go in and say, we have to do this?
Well, I think more than anything, what we've continued to do is just continue to work on us. It's still a lot of it's just continue to execute better. I think we've got to get to where we run the ball more consistently offensively. We need to have games where we don't have any turnovers. We've still had a couple turnovers the other night. We want to get
300 yards passing and 2 turnovers through the air doesn't get you an equal score.
No, and we need to continue to create turnovers. We've gotten a lot of interceptions. We'd like to get more fumble recoveries.
Yeah, I'd like to see Gilly have to cook ribs for all of us.
We've had
sometime soon.
We had 2 or 3 fumble recoveries, and 2 of those were for touchdowns. So that ratio is awesome. But we've had the ball roll around on the ground a little bit, and somehow we don't get on it. And
maybe our defensive line coach ought to offer ribs for the defensive front if they can come up with 3 fumble recoveries.
I've been telling him for 3 weeks to do some drills to get those fumbles off the ground. No, but you'd hope that you get to where you're creating a few more of those, and so running the football better, and more consistently, I'd say on the offensive side, and then creating turnovers and giving up fewer.
Just as long as you come home with 1 more point than the opponent, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm kind of greedy.
I know your number's
I want more
15.
than
Your number's 15.
We'll
Ruppers
take
will
the
be
win.
Ruppers
We'll
will
take
be
the
on the
win.
run, on the road, looking for the win and trying to pick up another district victory this Friday night. They travel to Bartlesville. It'll be a 7:00 kickoff there at Custer Stadium. Hope that you can make the 90-minute drive up the highway to follow the Ruffers. If for some reason you can't go, you can follow us here on Ruffer TV as well as on the radio with our radio partner Okie Country 1017 KTFX. For Dale Condict, for Gilly, Rob Gilstrap, and then also for Junior McNack and Eamon Goodland, I'm Bill Huddleston. Thanking you for joining us for this week's show. And remember, as always, it's a great day to be a Ruffer.